Well, today on Focus Gaming News, we offer a warm welcome to Mario Ovcharov, CEO of UltraPlay. Mario, hi, how are you?
I'm not bad, and you?
Good, good. Where are you at the moment?
I'm in Sofia in our headquarters, in our conference room.
How are things there at the moment? Are you things starting to return to normality?
Well, let's hope so. I mean, yeah, the measures are up, but we'll see how it goes. Bulgaria is a tourist country, so
Yeah.
it's expected for some people to come in. We'll see how that goes.
Good. So, well, how have tell us a little bit about how you've seen the development of iGaming internationally in what's been a strange year so far. How do you see the development of iGaming overall first?
Well, there is many speculations towards how the heavy digitalization had to prove itself working in those times of lockdown, and I think it worked out pretty well in terms of technology and the products and operations themselves being prepared for such thing. I cannot speak about the land-based side. I guess they suffered mostly from our ecosystem. Our focus is mainly online. We don't participate in land-based activities. Therefore, I can speak for the online part, which I think was sort of um, unexpectedly put in a position where everybody had to go through online process. But I think the absence of sports was sort of, I wouldn't say substituted by the different products, variables, increasing casino and live games and such, but more like the people who were there to bet and still wanted to, enjoy some experience in betting. We're able to do that with the variation of products. But my opinion is that this is not like that this part of sports betting would be taken over, or when sports return in full, it's not gonna be like back properly. I think that everything will go back to the normal things. Just operators and brands around the world would be more. They would care more about having a larger portfolio of products rather than keeping up to their, if it's a main sports brand, to not have an extensive casino product or vice versa. And again, maybe our part with eSports, which wasn't affected as much, also was in the spotlight, I guess, in that time. So yeah, generally, I think that the variation of products around the industry had a chance now to be seen and or tasted or integrated in some other places. So my opinion is that it wasn't so bad on the iGaming industry in terms of the online aspect as in any other industry.
It's well, you mentioned esports, and like you say, it's esports have received something of a boost in a way because of the situation, and it's been something of a showcase for maybe something that a lot of people had not been aware of or didn't realize that it was there as an opportunity for betting. UltraPlay has a strong esports platform with the OddsGG. How do you see the rise of esports continuing after the pandemic? Is it some future prospects?
For us, esports has been a thing since for many years now. Like since 2014, we've been providing our own in-house odds and white labels and iframes dedicated to the esports. And I mean, our OSGG is one thing that we have is a odds feed product, which is distinguished from our solutions and iframes that we have, which are also could be dedicated and designed and made in a way to be presented better in the esports industry and especially within the esports audience. Um, Therefore, for us, we have seen the whole rise. I mean, okay, right now maybe they had a little bit more attention, but I would say the people from inside the industry have heard esports for at least a year or two now. And as I said, for us, it's been like 6 years of doing it. So we were more than prepared for such a moment, I would say. I mean, it was very good that this sort of happened in generally giving attention to esports. We got approached by many companies, not just for getting it. Many people were just asking around, understanding more, understanding what exactly it is a product. At the end of the day, it's just another sport in terms of two teams playing against each other. You bet who's gonna win and variable markets around it. But we saw that such structure, meaning that still, there's many LAN tournaments and all the big finals, everything happens on stage and blah blah. It's a lot of fan commitment and sports. How to say, it's not like a casino product or something that is just there. It's a product. It's 25, 30 years of say our generation playing games, playing then professional sports now. Um, so that is more than just a product. It's a whole community and ecosystem around it. And yeah, generally was not affected because they could proceed and doing all their tournaments offline. Like big part of the tournaments themselves and the pre-stages are primarily done online. Whether the players can be in the same house or room, everyone at home, um, there's no limit for them to perform their sport. So we saw that, yes, and some of the simulations of real sports, were interested in terms of FIFA and NBA, other sports simulations, which in reality during normal times are not getting a lot of attention from esports audience and esports sponsors generally. Simply because why would you bet on a simulation of a football when you have the real football either way, right? Rather than betting on a game, there is no live simulation of CS:GO. It's very different. But in that period, I would say that the heavy sports bettors and just fans of sports who wasn't able to have the sport they're normally betting on was sort of interesting on betting on simulation of football, basketball, or any other sport, which the heavy esports audience wouldn't touch generally.
Mm. It's we've seen quite different opinions from those who say that esports is served as a replacement, but that once traditional sporting events are starting to return, then people will move back to them, and the interest in esports will pass through to people who like Harold here, who we spoke to recently, who was saying that for him, he thinks, for the next generation, they'll see traditional sports as something old-fashioned that their grandparents watched, and that esports is a real alternative in itself. What do you think?
I wouldn't say it's a substitute. As I said, it's a thing of its own. You still see many kids in the football academy, right? You still see many kids in the swimming pool or any activities that are around sports. The two things I don't think will mix up or one will overtake the other. Is they're purely very different in their base. For esports, okay, it's not required for you to go training and or be physically well and stuff like that. Yes, you can be. um, in your computer. But believe me, the commitment in terms of going pro level, like many kids are good at school in being football or basketball, but very few make it to the pro league because then it's much more than just talent or being good in the game. Then believe me, it's same or even more in sports because you're alone. Psychological problems are very heavy. You're at the end of the day, you do stay 16 hours in front of a computer. You get social for them. Social distancing is their lives. It was much stranger for them during COVID and stuff. But again, very few players make it to pro league. That's something very important. These teams they do have coaches, um, big organizations behind them. It's not just like some random friends that go there and play. Everything's structured for pro level. It's like in any other sport organization. Um, that's why I don't think that the things should mix up because sports will be played in sport. There's no problem for you playing football on Wednesday and playing CS:GO on Saturday night with your friends. Two things don't mix up.
Okay, and now in other areas, UltraPlay recently reached an agreement with TV Bet to host its live games. Do you see live games as an area that's going to continue to grow? And what type of games will you be looking to incorporate onto UltraPlay's platforms looking forward now?
Look, generally we've always been open to new products. Um, to be honest, I'm not very much into casino and that part of it, but I understand that diversification and just giving more options might, it's not just about if someone's gonna play it, but you're presenting that you stay on top, you care about adding new stuff. So generally, products like that are interested for a certain audience, and you never know which region or where it's gonna click. Especially for new. For me, this is a mixture between live casino that provides you the option to don't care about minimum bets or spots at the blackjack table so much. So again, it's a good diversification for sort of feeling, the how to say, the beauty of a live casino and that experience. And again, having it in a more accessible way to more people. That's I think such products do have a future. Generally, for us, we anything that is interesting for the industry and gets attention, we're always analyzing it, checking it when we're in expos and stuff. And if it makes sense, we have no problem moving forward. Different sport, live casinos, newly made, like variations of casino games, RNG based, crash games, or even esports related casino content.
It's well, you've mentioned the importance of diversification in products. How about in terms of markets? What markets does UltraPlay see now as important to reach out to?
Uh, well, it's the same markets we've been interested in up until now. I guess now it will be good if there is a chance for us to work in North America. But generally, the Asian interest has always been one of our primary for us. In Europe, it's our homeland, so it's been always again Asia and Europe is our main markets. CIS region is always known, the biggest teams, one of the biggest stars in the sports. They come, um, Scandinavian region again, like they're sort of the new coming. All the big teams and stuff are from there. So yeah, Europe and North America are sort of the Mecca of esports, and Asia was the follow-up. For many people, they think it's the opposite. They connect Asian people with technology and games and stuff, but it's not. It's actually Europeans who brought professional gaming and having it as a professional thing. So yeah, I think that's I still cannot say regions like Africa or Canada and South America. Still, um, Brazil is very because there's big teams and big stars, and CS:GO has been on a big level there for many years. But maybe South America is the new coming market for sports and generally having good operations there and regulations. Because as far as my knowledge goes, I know that Mexico and Colombia has local licenses. Brazil, I think, still is in the making of something like that. So yeah, I mean, that would be an interesting market depending on the digitalization of the population there, and the payment methods is always an issue. So.
Great. Well, thanks, Mario. Is there anything you'd like to add before we finish?
No, I mean, I was very happy to take that interview with you.
Yeah.
Looking forward to any other topic.
Likewise. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure to have you on Focus Gaming News, and we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you too.
Thanks, Mario. Bye-bye.